I thought I'd just bring him in to let him listen in a little bit and see where we can go from there.
Sure, that sounds good. And he just joined.
Yeah, and we might just add him to the mailing list so he has.
Okay. Handy.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hello, Thomas. If you put your email in the chat, if you want to be included in all of our notices and stuff like that, we can get you added into the group. If you,
I'll go ahead and do that.
Okay.
And Thomas, if you want to wait until after you're done with the meeting, you could do that too. But
there was also, if it's okay, I had shared this with Matthew Wicks. He works with Office of Leading and Learning. And he was included in one of the text strings I got about the driver's ed.
Okay.
He said he would be about 15 minutes late because he had another meeting, but he would jump in. So if you see a Matthew Wicks trying to enter, let him in, please.
Will do.
He's going to be more like, I mean, I kind of do a lot of the safety things, but he's more involved with what they're putting out there to the students as far as, you know, different types of educational type materials and things. So he'll know what they can fit in, what they can't fit in, what they will or what they won't. So
Gotcha. Okay.
I think that's, and like I said, I think that's our biggest, just what we would like to know, because there's a couple of different groups that do a couple of different things and seeing which one might fit, and kind of go from there.
Yeah. Well, I think he'll be a good resource.
Yeah. Melissa, we'll make sure we do introductions and kind of a little bit more pertinent information, who does what.
Okay.
With the group too, instead of just the usual name.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, you want to give maybe a minute more and then we can go ahead and get started?
Yeah.
Just people are still rolling in.
Just another minute or so.
Okay.
George is here, Brent's here, Jeffrey's here. I think there's a few people still out on vacation. So we'll go ahead and get started. My name's Tina Russo. I'm chair. I'm actually the active transportation planner for Pasco MPO as well. And welcome everybody. It seems like we're starting to take a little bit of a new direction with community traffic safety team. So we're going to try to do that as well with this group, and we'll just go around the virtual room here with introductions. So and a little bit, because there's a couple of new people instead of just the name, rank, and serial number, just please provide kind of what your main purpose of being part of this committee, if you want to do that, and kind of go from there. We're being recorded too, just to remind everybody. Melissa, you want to start?
Sure. So, hey, everybody, my name is Melissa Shepard. I'm with JMT, who is a consultant to FDOT District 7's safety office, and I help administer the meetings for CTST throughout the district and coordination for all kinds of other things for the meetings. So that's me in a nutshell. And this meeting is being recorded. And if you are not speaking, please mute your mics as to not have any interference for everybody else. Thank you.
I'm just going to go down the list. Brent.
Hello, my name is Brenton Mosier. I'm with the USF Center for Urban Transportation Research. So I work on projects related to bicycle and pedestrian safety and other traffic safety initiatives, most of them funded through FDOT Safety Office grants.
And then Anthony.
Hey, good afternoon, Anthony Chamont, safety consultant to District 7, one of the safety engineers. So I listen in to these meetings whenever I can, because we do a lot of studies in Pasco County for you guys.
George.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. George Edmiston. I'm with Penitentiary Engineering. I'm also a District 7 safety consultant working under Peter, Mike, Emmett, and also do some work with Brenton and Julie over at Cutter doing high school presentations.
Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, Jeffrey Moncallion. I'm with Pasco County Traffic Operations. I kind of handle the traffic counts, street lights, passing along any information about traffic signals or projects that people are interested in.
Casey.
Hey folks, I just joined with EXP, but I have been attending the traffic safety meetings with Tina as her GPC for a couple of years, and did a lot of Target Zero with the MPO, and we're back under contract with them. So been a part of the Pasco goings on for a little while.
Janine.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Janine Lawrence. I'm with Mothers Against Drunk Driving. I do education and outreach in several counties, including Pasco County. And what we educate and outreach about is prevention of impaired driving. And then we also do underage drinking and drug use prevention.
Lori.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lori Paleo with JMT. I'm a traffic engineer. I work under Anthony Chamont. I help coordinate with Melissa on CTST efforts.
Dr. Stovall.
Hello, everybody. Randy Stovall. I am the Pasco County BPAC chairman, and so all the safety discussion is very important, not only to that role, but I'm involved with the Chambers of Commerce in Dade City and Zephyr Hills, and Zephyr Hills Planning Commissioner. And so these things are very helpful to us. Thank you.
And Thomas.
Good afternoon. My name's Tom Perrin. I work with Pasco Schools. I work in the school safety department. I chair our school traffic safety meetings, and there's a lot of people like Tina attends that, and the county traffic ops and the sheriff's office.
All right, I think that's everybody. If someone comes in, we'll try to introduce them as they come on. So we're going to review and approve the June 23 meeting minutes. And we had quite the lengthy meeting last time. So just please review, and then we'll kind of go from there. Tom, what we kind of do, very similar to the school traffic, we have these problem locations that we kind of review and try to see if we can do anything about them. Most of them are state roads, some of them are county roads. So several of these have been on here for a while. One of them is like Gator Lane and 41 example. We just did a pretty good, excuse the expression, purge of these last month. So quite a few of these will be coming off. And we're going to kind of start with a clean slate starting this coming next month. Along those lines, we might kind of divvy them out between state roads and county roads, and maybe even kind of categorize them on what the need might be, whether it be enforcement, engineering, or all the above. So that's kind of where we're at. If you want to review, and then we'll hopefully have a motion to approve.
Yeah, I would make the motion to approve the minutes.
So Dr. Stovall makes the motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Jeffrey, second. That was Jeffrey, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So we're going to follow up on these. Again, several of these you can see will be removed at the next meeting. So most of these have reached the point where they need to come off. There's been an RSA done. There's work in progress. There's nothing to say that some of these areas might not come back on if there's another need established or there's something else we need to do. We're kind of just several of these have been on here for a while. We're waiting for lighting agreements and some things that just are at a standstill. So we feel like we should move some of these off and start fresh as we go forward. Thomas, if you can see, that first one is Gator Lane. Most of the discussion that's been going on for a while now, for a couple of years, actually, maybe a year and a half or two. A lot of it was with the first part of the lighting situation. And we all know that one side of the road is Duke and one side of the road is with Akuchi. That doesn't mean this drops off from us still working on it. It's just that this comes off our list because we're working on it in a different realm as well with you guys. So,
Hey, Tina, it's Casey.
Hey.
You know, we've been working on a lot of these for a while, but kind of remind me, and maybe the group reminds it, they end up on here brought to us by, like, kind of how do they end up here for new ones and so forth?
So, and Melissa might be able to help me answer that. I think a lot of these in the past came through citizens, maybe the county, and some other ways. I think that's kind of what I want to do starting probably next month as we move forward. How do we go about putting these problem locations on the list instead of keep on going over the same thing over and over every month? I'd like to have them kind of prioritized and figure out what we can do. And if we can do it, let's do that and move on instead of just kind of hashing out some of these. Bellamy Brothers is a prime example. DOT did a RSA for that. We kind of know what we need there. It's been put on the list of prior projects. So I'd like to have a way of starting and finishing these projects, these problem locations, and kind of go from there. I think we're the only one that does this, right? Hillsborough doesn't have this, right?
Hillsborough does not have it. Pasco has it. Pinellas has it. And West Central has it. And now the university has it as well. So the only CTST not doing it is Hillsborough.
Okay.
And some of
Sorry.
Some of these locations also come through via law enforcement individuals.
Right.
So they'll see stuff and then bring it to attention as well.
So what we might do next month is kind of have that column maybe is who brought it. I'd like to have it divvied out between state roads and county roads too. And then we might just have a way of who is the different agencies that's going to kind of look at some of these problem locations. Again, this is going to be a work in progress. I want this to be more of a we have lots of problem locations. We know that. I want it something that we can actually resolve that problem location or figure out if we can resolve it. And if we can't, I mean, that's the way it is. Sometimes we move on. Some of these are the lighting situation. We know that we're kind of, the county's kind of stuck in a situation with agreements with Duke. With the Gucci seems to be a little bit better. But I know DOT is pursuing some other avenues as well as lighting goes too. So. Number 2 is the exact same situation. It's Little Road and Rye Street. And Jeff, if you can add anything up to date on this, I'm not sure if you were in the last meeting or not. We decided a lot of these were at a point where nothing else could be done. And I think that was the exact same thing with the Little Road Rye one. I think you're waiting for something on this one, right?
Yeah, we have a whole lighting corridor project
right
coming road, so we can't really do anything else on this right now.
Right. 54 Collier Parkway, again, we're working with DOT. The MPO is working on some corridor studies with that. We're also working with DOT with their resurfacing on doing some different scopes and comments for safety when they resurface the road. Again, Collier is not a state road, it's a county road, so some of these are county initiatives, some of them are law enforcement. And then Bellamy Brothers, we're gonna go ahead and move it off the list because we've reached to the point where it's on our list of priority projects. We submitted an application for safety study, our safety action plan from the feds. So some of these, like Bellamy Brothers, are hopefully going to be some of our high crash corridors where we can seek funding to get them funded for some of these countermeasures. Jeffrey and VNCAP have done an excellent job on piecemealing with what funding they have, some county measures on Bellamy Brothers the last couple of years. So that one will come off. And then Ridge Road and Leo Kidd Avenue, which is a little bit east of 19 on Ridge Road, pretty close, unfortunately, to that 19 intersection. VNCAT looked at this, and unfortunately, the domino effect of changing the signalization at this road would cause a huge domino effect at Ridge Road and 19 as well. 19 and Bay Boulevard, I think DOT is working on this one still. It's that real weird angle intersection into 19. And then Sea Ranch 19, it's going to be removed because we're going to study it when we get our safety action plan because there's a high crash corridor as well. This is the one that Mike put on, and we'll just kind of discuss this further as we move forward. We'll like to keep Seven Springs on here. Thomas, this might be one that you might be interested in too, since there's some stuff going on at Seven Springs and Mitchell Ranch area as well. But we'll bring this one up at the next meeting and kind of start diving into that one a little bit different. Comments and concerns. Again, we kind of purged, excuse the expression there, but I want to kind of start fresh and see if we can start prioritizing things and have the appropriate agencies involved with moving forward with some of these. know we get them all the time, and we have a couple that we want to add to the list once we move forward.
So Tina, I will remove these from the location sheet
All right.
and then probably revise the form a little bit and then send it to you, and we can just kind of work through it to make sure it's what you want going forward.
Yeah, and then the next meeting the group can kind of put their input in on it too.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, let's see. Go back to agenda. New business. So let's go ahead and jump into the education part. So Brent and George, we both have you here. I'm surprised Vanessa's not here. I was hoping she would be because we're trying to work on something with St. Pete too, John Hopkins. But Brent Thomas is part of the school board. He's actually the traffic safety. So I asked him to join us to see if we can work on some education with the Pasco school. It came up in our meeting yesterday, and it does from time to time. It came up in our traffic safety, school safety meeting yesterday about how maybe we can educate some of our students. So I'm going to let you guys jump in and let Thomas know what USF and both of you guys have to offer for the school system, and we can see how we can maybe get our foot in the door and what we can start doing.
Brent, you want to start? And then I can answer any questions.
Yeah, so Cutter has a pretty robust teen traffic safety education program. We travel to almost 50 schools within the FDOT district, mostly driver's ed classes. However, in the past few years, driver's ed in Pasco County has started to drop off as teachers retire and et cetera. And currently there's the only school offering a driver's ed class in 2023-24 school year is going to be Wiregrass Ranch High School. This was also a problem in some of the other counties. However, with a partnership through FDOT, the safety grant, we were able to offer scholarship reimbursements to teachers that completed the certification. So several teachers in both Hillsborough and Pinellas County took advantage of that, and Pinellas has reactivated schools that haven't had drivers ed. They've been dormant for the past few years. However, when I reached out to Pasco County, they declined and said that there was no intention to add any more driver's ed classes at this time.
And that was a pretty good explanation, Brent. And I can basically support Brent's. We've been really active in trying to reach the most vulnerable drivers on our road. They're inexperienced. They make some decisions that cost them their lives. Not just as vulnerable roadways, but what them or encounter them roadway. We go beyond what the driver's handbook gives. We give a realistic approach towards what's currently happening on the roadway with teen crashes and some characteristics of those crashes. Christian and myself are prior law enforcement. I spent 30 years in law enforcement, so I provide some stories that go along with really sure teenagers have a really good understanding of the responsibility that they're taking on as drivers. So it's disappointing to hear that program are no longer offering that in certain schools and districts. I don't understand the process. I guess it's through different courses, but all we can do is offer that there is still some scholarship money to get those teachers certified so they can go in and teach those courses. And that's really the most we can offer at this point.
Okay, I understand. I reached out. I know this. There's one of our individuals that works with Office and Leading and Learning. His name is Matt Wicks. He was one of the contacts in one of the emails, but I reached out to him and he had another meeting, but he was going to try to jump onto this meeting here. Just so, we had a full understanding of what you had to offer and the benefits that there were. And then, he could take that, to the department heads and they could discuss it to see if that was something, viable for them and what the pros and cons are and, kind of why we're only in one school right now. But I think it has a lot to do with just some of those staff members that were trained that have, slowly retired. I mean, I believe that's the largest impact against it. But there might be some other things I'm not aware of. That's why I want Matt to be here to discuss that, or at least hear your side of what you guys can offer. That scholarship thing, that sounds pretty good though, for some of those teachers to be able to get reimbursed. Other than that, what other type of training do you guys do out at schools? Is it anything related to our younger kids, K through 5 or middle schoolers?
We are working on a program, and he is not here, but one of our colleagues, Jason Jackman, is also working with Christian Zara, who is the law enforcement officer that's teaching these classes, to go into, we're doing a pilot program this year of 6 elementary schools, and I'm not sure which ones he's chosen, but it's based on a presentation created by NHTSA called A Safer Journey. And so we, have been going in and, taking that as our base and then sort of adding some interactive activities to that as well.
And
we
John,
Sydney Cart
sorry,
too, if you wanted to cover that. I'm sorry. The Sydney
Yeah.
Cart too.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
John. Yeah, and Thomas, what we can do is set up a meeting with you guys, and John Hopkins has a program as well that they do elementary school wise. In fact, they did the helmet training for you guys, for your several teachers. So there's that option too, that they've been wanting to do some things. They're just not here today, but we can actually set up a specific meeting with you folks and kind of just let you know what's out there and kind of see what can start working on and kind of go from there. Because there's programs out there, which just trying to figure out what fits for you guys to start off with.
That sounds good. Yeah, I think we got some attendance last year for that helmet training, which was probably
You
very
did.
beneficial. Yeah.
And they were excited, so.
Tina, George just also wanted me to add that we also have, FDOT has gotten a Sydney impairment cart. And so that simulates what it would be like to be impaired in a low speed controlled environment. So that's sort of a interactive thing for the teens to do. It's a fun little go-kart that, just it delays reaction time to the steering and brakes in a way that simulates impaired driving. And so that's a pretty useful tool.
Is that a something that's brought out not just to driver's ed classes, but just something that's just brought out to the school?
Yeah, it could be brought out to the school. It can be brought out to community events as long as there's, a sizable location to do it. Yeah, so there's a lot of opportunities for that. I believe it's 15 and up is the requirements to be able to drive it.
So last year at Cypress Creek High School, I know they had a DUI crash car that was set out there. It was towards the end of the year, probably centered around prom time, homecoming, probably prom time. So adding to that might be something pretty cool as we get, around Christmas break or something. Maybe we can push something like that out to some of the high school principals that are going to be doing certain types of those events, and maybe we can get that out there.
I'll speak up here too, since we're talking impaired driving. Matt is always happy to partner with things like that. We do that with the Prom Promise events that Fire Rescue, multi-agency, but Fire Rescue puts on. So anytime there's anything like that, we're happy to come and bring some education portion to it as well. And I know that FDOT has that too, but we always feel like, and I think they agree, the more we have out there that can reach different people, the better in terms of that kind of prevention. So any partnership we can do with that CART or any impaired driving, we're happy to be part of.
And again, Renissa's not here. They do Battle the Belt, so that would be a great opportunity to take advantage of that as well. That was dwindling off for Pasco schools as well. So,
what was that, Tina?
So
Battle of what?
Battle the Belt is something that John Hopkins was doing in several schools for several years now, and it's kind of been dwindling off as well. But maybe if we can do some other things with Battling of the Belt, like that impaired driving and some other things, maybe we can get some more interest in it. And a lot of these folks have, like you've said, have retired, so we're just trying to find the newest ways to get back into the schools and kind of go from there. We have these programs. We just want to be able to see if we can start taking advantage of them as well. Thomas, what we might do is just let you kind of come up with a couple of people that George and Brent and even Renissa and anybody that would be interested in us just doing a quick virtual meeting and just let them know what's out there, and then see how we can kind of start getting our foot in the door with some events that you already have and those that are interested in, because we know again that this is the age group that we want to try to take advantage of and get that education in. And the younger we can get them. I used to teach fourth graders, and I thought that was the best age to teach because at least they would listen to you, So just wanted to, I'm glad you came to this meeting so we can kind of at least figure out how we can start incorporating some education with the schools and get them earlier.
Suggestion I'll make too, just classrooms I know that I've been had success getting in are often the health classes or the HOPE classes for high school and middle school. It often fits in that type of subject matter. So just an idea if you haven't thought of that.
Anybody you can grab for a 15 or 20-minute meeting, Thomas, where we can see if we can help, that'd be great. There's a lot of curriculum out there. I know DOT and Eric has lots of curriculum too that we can just provide as part of the health class or any class too.
You're saying health, like a health class?
Correct.
Yes.
So we have, we have our own health team here, so I could reach out to Amy Ponce. She's one of our supervisors, and see if this is something she would be wanting to sit in on, And then again, the gentleman that was going to try to make it to this meeting, I'll reach out to him. And we'll see if there's anybody else. And we'll do that. Just do a little sidebar like type of meeting, just so you guys can share your information to them. That really the ones that are going to make decisions on what we end up doing at our schools. So,
and we understand that schools are just bombarded and they only have so much time. So any chance, whether it be an event or anything that we can take advantage of, I think that's what the group's trying to do, because that's what they've been doing. Any other information on that? Along those lines, we have a traffic safety or traffic skills 101 cycling course coming up August 18th for professionals, right, Brent? At USF.
August 18th, yep.
Yep. August 18th, not 28th, right, Brent?
Right.
Sorry. So if you have any professionals, it's a really good way to realize. And George was in the last class. It really helps for you to be aware of what it's like to be riding in traffic, and how best to do that. Oh, that's right, Melissa, you were in that class, and Casey was in that class too. So
It was a great class. It was a great class.
I lived to survive and tell about it, and I'm coming back.
And she signed up she went on to become an instructor.
Yep. We rode down 54 and let us say it, huh?
Yep. And I'm helping with August 18th, Tina. I'll be there. I'm helping you guys out as well. So I'll be there.
Right. George?
Yeah, I just wanted to back up 1 minute and talk about that scholarship opportunity. Thomas, I really don't know how long I'd put this off, that discussion, because FDOT's facing budget cuts as well.
Yeah.
So the money's available for scholarships. I can't guarantee that's going to continue into the future. So if it's something you guys are considering, you might want to look at scheduling something rather quickly.
Yeah, we'll try to, because school's starting pretty soon. So if we're going to do this, we need to do it pretty quickly before things really ramp up even more. So we'll try to schedule something pretty soon. I'm just letting them know what's out there. Anything else on
Yeah, there's just
education? Enforcement and a couple of things on enforcement. I do not see anybody from enforcement. I was at the Bike Ped Coalition meeting last week in Lakeland, and one of the biggest things that came out of that meeting, and I'm part of the law enforcement subcommittee, is this is the way for enforcement to get what they need out when it comes to traffic and transportation. So I want to come up with a list of enforcement. We're meeting with Zephyr Hills on Friday. We're going to reach out to as much local law enforcement we can. I understand they can't make it to a meeting, but they need to know who we are and that they can reach out to us when they need to reach out to somebody within DOT. That was the big conversation at the coalition meeting, is this needs to be the way for law enforcement to know about traffic changes, DOT changes, and so forth and so on. So Melissa, we'll have to work on updating a law enforcement email list and send them out there and just let them know who we are, when we meet, and what we do, and kind of go from there. But that was the big discussion at the coalition meeting with law enforcement, is that there needs to be a way for them to connect to DOT and traffic ops. George, hand up.
Yeah, so I can just speak on a couple things that are actively going on. Last week, we did do some roadway safety audit training to law enforcement agencies throughout Pasco County. It was at the Newport Richey Police Department. We had quite an attendance for that, but also in the process of scheduling a multi-jurisdictional US 19 traffic enforcement campaign for August 9th. It'll start in St. Petersburg and go all the way up to the Hernando County line, focusing directly on egregious violations on US 19. The participating agencies for Pasco County, have every agency in Pinellas County that's agreed to participate, but I also got commitments from the Florida Highway Patrol in Pasco County. I got Special Operations Motorcycles. I also have the Port Richey Police Department and the new Port Richey Police Department. We're going to be doing a briefing at the Tarpon Springs Police Department that morning. It'll be a 6-hour operation, and it also falls under ELEE. So those participating agencies can earn points as well. So that's scheduled. It's not public information. We're not going to do a press release on it until after the event's over, but we certainly need to address some of the egregious violations going on US 19.
So who is our LEL now?
It is Charlie Kane. And as a matter of fact, he's in Orlando right now. I'll be meeting with him and Peter and Emmett. We're heading over there Friday as well. But he is currently our LEL, but they're in the process of replacing him because Charlie's trying to retire.
Okay. And that might be how we just kind of get together and get this law enforcement contacts, at least know who we are, and kind of go from there. So.
Yeah, and one experience I have, Tina, to be honest with you, is between the smaller agencies, and I deal a lot with the Florida Highway Patrol up there. They do constantly shift their operations. Yep. So, you know, you may be a day shift lieutenant, sergeant, or officer this month, and next month you might be on midnight shift. So it's hard to get the consistent folks to constantly be there based on the hours they're working. But I certainly think John McConnell and a few of those others that are still part of our active list, I just don't think it's falls under his shift work at this point.
Yeah, and that was, we always know that's the conversation, but at least that they know they can reach out, that they don't have to be at the meeting because we know that's hard, but just know that we're here for them. If they need to email somebody, they need to know who those contacts are and kind of go from there. That was the big discussion we had with law enforcement. And we know that's everybody's changing jobs, so we just need to try to keep that email list and keep them out there and let them know we're here. And Bellamy Brothers, the whole Bellamy Brothers RSA came out of Lieutenant Rux's concerns at this meeting. So
I agree. Yeah, if you have information that you'd like me to send off to them for any specific contacts, I'd certainly be happy to help you with that as well, because I'm in constant communication with them.
Yeah, Melissa and I have come up with something very simple just to kind of reach out, and it'll be something very similar that maybe just not just for enforcement, but for other interested parties. But we really want to hone in on the enforcement, so they realize that they do have a law enforcement liaison with DOT, and kind of go from there. So real quick, while we're talking about enforcement, and it kind of leads into the engineering, Melissa, can you pop up the PowerPoint? So this seems to be a huge conversation going on, but we have several laws that came out this July 1st. This came out of this legislative update at the Bike Ped Coalition meeting. But I just wanted to go through these because a couple of these have to do with schools as well. So I'm actually going to do our performance safety measures at the crossing guard training next week for Pasco, and the traffic control officer training next Monday and Tuesday, which is good. But just go ahead and next slide. So these are just a couple of the newer laws that came out July 1st. The move over law, which most people know about. So I can send these to everybody if they need them. But the biggest couple of ones, go ahead and skip down, is this automated enforcement in school zone speed limits. So if you haven't seen these, I'm sure several of you have, but these are going to be interesting, and you need to know what the law specifically says, because I guess there's a lot of different rumors going around about the law itself. And George, and if you want to jump in on any of these, but there's several companies approaching departments to provide these cameras in these school zones. And I can send everybody. Eustis has them, and they're using them, and it's been very successful already. So the school zone, you can have camera detection as well. A lot of people don't realize that the violation is for 11 miles per hour over the speed limit. And I believe it can be any time of the day. Can enforce school zone limit or posted speed by time of day. And then next is an interesting one. Is the next one is the school bus one. This one's really interesting. And this one's actually taken on supposedly by the school district to do with the help of law enforcement. So this one's an interesting one. DOT is still trying to figure this one out, by the way. And everybody else is trying to figure this one out. So this is on both sides of the school bus as well. So these I can send to everybody. And then the next one is a fun one. It's the golf cart, which is really not much different than what the previous law was. But again, operators must be 18 or older and have a valid. So these are really, really fun laws as well, especially since DOT just approved a golf cart crossing over 19. And they're evaluating 2 other golf cart crossings over 19 currently. So those are just some of the laws. I can send those to you guys if you want them.
Yeah, Tina,
but-
can you put it in the chat, or Melissa can
Yes.
put it in the chat? That'd be great. So
Melissa,
the
can you throw it in the
enforcement
chat?
of the 20, so the camera will only detect that you get a violation at 31 miles per hour, right? If you're going 31.
So it's, no, it's 11 over
20,
whatever.
over 20.
Yeah.
Let's say, like in that case, if it's 20, it's
Yeah.
31 miles per hour. Okay.
Right.
And will they be mailing you the ticket, or is that just to flag a deputy or someone just to stop you himself? I'm not sure I
No.
follow.
So most of it, and I think I have to look at the one at Eustis, because I'll send you that video, because it kind of explains it really well, because Eustis is currently doing it through their sheriff's office.
Okay.
I'll try to put that video in the chat too. So I just want to make you guys aware of some of these, especially since they're dealing with school zones. I'm going to do a little bit more research on these before I'm going to show them at the meeting on Monday and Tuesday, since it does kind of reflect on our crossing guards and traffic control officers.
Yeah, and I'd like to, I'll get with you after. Hey, George, it's Casey, but the Pinellas Sheriff's Office wouldn't go for me being a floater. So I've been released from there. So I'd like to keep up on any of the trainings, because I'm not invited to the one they're having August 1st for Pinellas, Tina. So just can kind of fill me in after you do the one up in Pasco.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So anything
Yeah.
else?
For
on
your
enforcement?
services anyway, right?
Yeah.
What, George? What?
Certainly use your services at other agencies. I know crossing guards are one of the biggest concerns right now in recruitment. So
I
the
was
Port
really
Ritchie, near Port
surprised.
Ritchie area.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
I was really surprised,
Yeah.
but they said I have to completely go through the whole process to apply again. And I was like, really? And they said, yeah, you're either in or out. They kind of gave me the reason that otherwise people would be asking for this all the time. Yep. So it's either you're in or you're out. If the people who've been there a really long time can do it, that they know, but I was too new for that. So that's okay. I gave them a year and a half, and then I'll definitely go back again later. But I couldn't guarantee them a whole 180 days this time. So we'll revisit. But Tina, I'd love to keep up on any of this stuff, because that really helps me with all the other facets of what I do to know this. This is really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can put that YouTube in the chat. So anything other for enforcement?
Hi, Tina, it's Brenton. I just put the current ELE stats through last Thursday night in the chat. I wanted to make a clarification because there seems to be some confusion about the numbers. The numbers are as they are reported, so that's not the change. Like, what's different between week to week when I send it to the agencies is what they report. So sometimes certain agencies have stacks of reports that are a little bit old and go back a couple months. So I don't want anyone thinking, oh, well, this agency did so many citations within a week. So it's just this is the running all-time total.
Okay. So does this 60-day lag in Signal 4 hurt you guys too?
Definitely, we would love to have them respond better, but they're out there, and they know their districts and what the problem agencies are, problem locations, roadways are. So they're pretty good. And some of the ones in Pasco, like Port Ritchie and New Port Ritchie PD, for the ELE program, they only have like a few blocks of state road that they need to hammer along 19. So. But I will say that FHP Pasco is still leading the pack with the most number of points. But it's not a challenge.
All right. All right. I just found that video, so if we paste it here, there we go. Engineering. Any updates for anybody for engineering? So Pasco has a new engineering director, so I invited him to this meeting. So hopefully we can have him introduce himself at some point in time at one of our meetings. Maybe I can get him to our next meeting's at Starkey, right, Melissa, in August?
Sorry, August is virtual, September is the
Okay.
next meeting. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. That'll give me a chance to ask him to attend our next live meeting. I think let's go ahead, if anybody has anything engineering, we'll go ahead and go to crash statistics.
Tina, is that where you want to talk about the map, the fatality map?
Yes. This 60-day thing is driving me nuts on Signal 4 now. I bet it's driving you guys crazy too.
Okay, I could go explain the map. From January 1st to April 28th, there were 32 fatal crashes. Because the 60-day lag, it only goes to the April 28th. Last CTST meeting from January 1st to April 8th, there were 30 fatal crashes. There have been 2 new fatal crashes since last month CTST. That includes 1 left turn fatal crash and 1 unknown fatal crash. For the left turn fatal crash, the fatal crash occurred on State Road 54 and Island Boulevard, or Eland, I don't know how you pronounce that. It was at a 4-way intersection and occurred in dark, not lighted, and clear conditions. And then for the unknown fatal crash, the impact type was angle related. So it was 2 vehicles at an angle. It occurred on State Road 54 and Morris Bridge Road at the 4-way intersection in day clear conditions. We also made a new change to the CTST fatal crash maps. We have a new table at the bottom called fatal crashes by month, and it compares 2022 to 2023. So you could kind of get a comparison to the year to date over the same time period. So this time last year, there were 31 fatal crashes, and we are up by 1 fatal crash as we now have 32 fatal crashes. So we have 1 more from the same time period last year through April 8th. And that's what I got.
Motorcycles still are one of our highest ones as well.
Yes, 37%, correct.
Motorcycles and pedestrians.
Yep.
I
All
have
the
a,
vulnerable users.
I have a comment for you that might help explain the one that you talked about at Morris Bridge Road. You know, that intersection is still under construction.
Right.
And the drivers there, it's been under construction for 2 years, and the drivers there are really fatigued and frustrated. And I suspect that will be much safer once that construction is finally over. So I'm not real shocked that that would have occurred there. So anyway, hopefully it gets better.
Yeah, we've had, unfortunately, several at Morris Bridge there. That one was the semi truck too, wasn't it, Dr. Stovall? I believe.
No, I don't recall that, but
Yeah.
yeah. The other thing while I'm talking, I'll just tell you the pedestrian issue that you have there on the east side of Zephyr Hills. I think that's 54. That was a couple of months back. And I will tell you that, of course, 54 is being resurfaced and widened in that area. And so there's a lot of congestion there too. But I think probably the larger issue is there is an operation that provides food to homeless folks a block or 2 from where that occurred. And so there's a lot of traffic in and out of that location. Some people on foot, some people on bicycles. And so that operation is operating during daylight hours on weekdays. And so particularly in the afternoons at the time they close, it's either 5 or 6 o'clock, then there's a lot of kind of a outflow migration from that location, which might create a safety issue there.
Hi, this is Brenton from USF Cutter. Can you send me the name of that? We might be able to have some people go and do some outreach to the population there. But if
Yeah.
I'm not also, but if I'm not mistaken, that was on Pretty Pond Road, and that was that a pedestrian on an upright scooter? Do we know, Lori?
I'll look them up, Brent, before Friday's meeting.
Because I remember that crash
Yeah.
because it was about a mile from my mother's house on Pretty Pond Road. That was when a wrong way driver hit a person on an upright electric scooter.
I don't have that information, but I could like look through the Signal 4 data and get back to you on that.
Brent, I'm going to look through several things because since we're meeting with the chief on Friday, and then kind of just something sticks out. We know the lights are a big one. So we'll look through some things and see if there's something specific, exactly like Dr. Stovall said, if there's a place where we can kind of do some outreach, that'd be great. But
Yeah,
I'm going to look at the crash data real good.
I think that place is called Healing Hearts.
Okay.
Healing Hearts Cafe or something like that.
And once hopefully 54 is done, County Road 54 is done to the east of 301 with the new improvements, hopefully that will help with some of that area. Right, Dr. Stovall, hopefully, and then what we can eventually do on Wire Road.
Absolutely, that'll help a great deal.
Anything else on crashes? Yeah, we're pretty close to what we were last year. We were looking at our numbers to see, since we're about halfway through the year, but we only can go back to April now. We were trying to see how close we were to our performance safety measures. And usually July 4th is the worst, one of the worst times. And then from Thanksgiving on, unfortunately, is usually not very good either. So any calendar updates? We mentioned the professional traffic skills 101. Brent, can folks still get into that course?
Yes.
Okay. So, and it's pre-work, and then all day August 18th is on bike skills.
Is for that training, are you trying to hopefully focus on like school board, law enforcement, DOT folks, or is it are any of the MPOs or city county people considering it? I don't know, Brent, how much you've already had people sign up.
We did invite members of the city of Tampa and the county, as well as FDOT folks. I believe Emmett Duran with FDOT may be taking the class. Several other FDOT personnel like David Guttenplan have taken the class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the city council person from Temple Terrace, Meredith Abel, who also leads the Temple Terrace BPAC, is also going to take the class, and she's invited members of her committee, so there will be some citizens as well.
Oh, so you've got a good sign up. Okay, because I was thinking some of the people over in Modal, over in District 7, like Dave Newell and some of those folks who deal with all the connectivity of, transit to bike ped and stuff might be good. If you want me to send that invite over to them, but I don't know how many spaces you still have open.
I will confirm with Julie and send you an email.
Okay, no, I mean, just thinking. I was thinking some of those Modal folks might be good for them as well. They're under Ming, so.
Yeah, I send some to our engineer folks and some of our current planning folks. Actually, some of our long range planners. Again, as far as calendar updates, and I am doing our performance safety measures with our Pasco crossing guard training on Monday and Tuesday. So that would be good. Any other calendar updates? Where's Mike when we can know when everything's going on? And then
there is some, I can post the FDOT newsletter that was sent out at the beginning of July for your viewing pleasure.
Yay.
Oh, yes, and all those calendar dates on the back.
Oh my God, yeah. And when it comes to the newsletter, sometimes Peter and them are looking for articles, right, Casey? So
yes,
nothing. If you have something kind of safety related.
Julie, Brenton, and then Mike could usually give me some direction, so I'd offer and ask if there was a topic that they needed covered, and then I drive them a little bit crazy and I send like hundreds of photos and rework. So I think I'm, as Mike calls me, I'm his favorite Pinellas pain in the ass. So yeah, they are looking for help, maybe just not as much participation as I require. But you can ask Brenton and Julie and everyone, if there's ideas that they're looking for that maybe you could go. I really just enjoy going and researching the topic,
So
Hey,
looking
Joel.
at what we have, August is Child Safety Awareness Month. August 6th through 12th is Stop on Red Week. August 12th through 16th is the Governor Highway Safety Association 2023 annual meeting. And then August 16th through September 4th is Drive Sober, Get Pulled Over.
And there's the Southern. The Southern Challenge should start pretty soon too, right?
Yes.
Operation Southern Slowdown already started a week ago, right?
Okay. All right.
Almost 2 weeks now. Yeah, it was last Monday.
Okay. Discussion of email lists. We just want to make sure if there's anybody that we think that should be on here, that can be on here. Again, we know that making meetings sometimes is not always the easiest, but I think it's as much of a contact list as a meeting member list. So if there's some groups, there's several folks that aren't in here today, Isabel and Vanessa and stuff. A lot of our folks that come to this meeting aren't here today. It's probably vacation time right before school starts. So, but if there's anybody that's related to education, engineering, even emergency services, we're trying to get a little bit more involved with emergency rooms. That's why bayonet points become someone that we reach out to. So any suggestions on any folks that want to be on this email list, it cannot hurt. And George, like I said, I'm going to get with you and let's get some law enforcement and at least know that we're here and who the liaison's going to be. And maybe we wait until we get a liaison before we do that. So
I agree, and they know they can always reach out to me if they need anything. That's part of my job for DOT.
Okay. Anything else? Next meeting is, let's see, we're in July still, August 23rd, and it will be virtual. And then September, our meeting will be in life at Starkey Ranch Library, face to face. So
Yep, and then Tina, if I can just add just a quick little HSIP update.
Yep.
The portal is up. We're just giving it a final look over. We will be notifying all of the cities and counties within the District 7 area via an email blast in the month of August, which a couple weeks. We'll also be doing little presentations to go over the new application process since it is new. It's very user friendly. We have a PSA video, how to operate it. If you need assistance with it, we also have a quick little guide. So there's a lot of stuff out there to help you if you do need to complete an HSIP application. So more info to come.
Good. All right, looking good. Do we have anything else? Tom will try to set something up with you guys to come review some education possibilities and kind of go from there. Anything else? Happy Wednesday. Be safe out there. See you guys in August.
Thank you.
Have a good day, everybody.
Bye.
Bye now.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Stay dry. Try to stay dry.